heart of Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. The time is just coming up local time to around about 3 o'clock on a beautiful afternoon. Tomorrow, Friday night, we've got the richest purebred Arabian race in the world, and it's going to be fantastic. We've also got the final of the Ladies World Championship, the Apprentice World Championship, and for the first time ever, all live on Yaz TV on the Sheikh Mansour Festival website. The race for the kids, the pony race as well. Our final session today is the International Federation of Horse Racing Academies membership program, New Horizons for Students. I'd like to introduce you, first of all, to all the panelists, and when I do, give them a big round of applause at the end. We've got representing the United States of America, Remy Belloc. From Denmark, Ricky Bay-Tor. From Australia, Gay Gauchi Marchant. From Ireland, Keith Rowe. And also from Ireland, Jack Pilkington. Let's start with you, Remy. You are the Executive Director of the North American Racing Academy and General Secretary of the International Federation of Horse Racing Academies. New Horizons for Students. What's all this about?
Well, first of all, let's give this guy a round of applause for all the work he does all the time. Years ago, I went to the University of Arizona for racetrack management, and there was an internship application to the course of studies, and I was blessed with going to Del Mar Racetrack in 1983 for my internship. And I won't tell you what happened at Del Mar in those years, but it was a very...
What happens in Del Mar?
It stays in Del Mar.
Stays in Del Mar.
But it was a wonderful experience. I became friends with Joe Harper, who's the general manager. We still stay in touch to this day. And I learned so much about reaching out and traveling, like we talked before, and about making contacts. So when I proposed the idea to Lara a couple of years ago, I said, why don't we try to apply this to all our schools? And Lara, with her generosity, and Sheikh Mansoor said yes. And so we have this mentorship program, which we've done for 2 years. This year we had a total of 18 students who left their home country to go abroad to study, whether it be riding, training, working on a breeding farm, if some students want to learn about that. We even had Ryan Colley from the Northern Racing College who came to America, and we put him working on the starting gate crew, and he got certified as an accredited steward, accredited racing official in America to do that. So we have a variety of opportunities for these students to go abroad and learn from wonderful mentors.
That is amazing. Ricky, are you part of this mentor program? Have you been on a mentor program? Would you like to go on?
Yeah, I would love to if I wasn't that old. But I am on the program helping to send students abroad. When I started over 20 years ago riding racehorses, the most exotic place I could go to was Sweden, and it was like 45 minutes away. So I think this is the best opportunities for young riders to get out and get a networking and get experience from other countries and to involve. So yeah, I think it's a very, very great program.
And it could be good for you because tomorrow night you're taking part in the big race. Could you win?
Yeah, you race to win.
Tell us what it's like to be involved.
Sorry?
Tell us what it's like to be involved in a world championship.
Oh, it's amazing. I have to thank the Mansour Festival and Laura for making this happen, because I would never have dreamed of being part of something so big and meeting so many different people from different countries, and it's also making the networking easier and to place students in other countries, because you meet students, you get to talk to other people. So this festival is great. Yeah.
And I think the lady on your left, who's come all the way from Australia, who is a lady I have the highest respect for, will probably agree, because a few years ago when we met for the first time, she had this vision. Tell us more, Gay.
Well, it's not just the mentorship program, it's the whole IFRA, the whole federation. It's probably one of the most unique federations in the world, to have 54 countries sit around a table for one common goal, that's for the horse. Through Lara's vision, the federation came together with just 16 countries at the start, and it's just built from there. But to develop a platform where we can share not only students, but we share ideas, and we share ideas, we share any changes to curriculum and all that. For countries that don't have any school programs in place, they've got now direct access to Part 1 countries who have had programs for a long time. But this mentorship program, this is probably one of the most unique programs that I've ever seen. It can take somebody's dream and make it happen. It's like direct marketing. When somebody applies for one of these mentorships, they have already been involved in a course of some type within their country, in the industry. What they'll do is they'll apply what they would like to do, if it's a career transition, or if they want to improve the role that they've already got, and they'll say, nominate what country they would like to go to, and then it's just virtually across the table. We can touch that country and say, okay, can you take this student, and we know where they're going, they're safe, and through that, it's invaluable. The 8 weeks they get is invaluable. For perfect example, I said to Leo Dettori before, he was saying that his ambition is to be a racehorse trainer. Well, being Frankie Dettori's son, he'd be living in a fishbowl if he had tried to dip his toe in the water of how do I go about learning how to train a racehorse. I said, apply for the mentorship program, come to somewhere like Australia, come to our stable, nobody knows who you are there. And for 8 weeks, fully immerse yourself in training programs and health and welfare of horses in work. It's one of the, I think, this program, I really do hope that the people who go through it, the kids appreciate the work that's gone in behind it. Remy's done an amazing job. I've actually had one of the girls from Canada come over to our stable. She wanted to ride in jump outs. That was her dream, so that was achieved. We sent a young girl from Korea to Karin in the Netherlands. You know, language issues and all that, but overcome because it was one-on-one. It wasn't 10 people involved. I was able to speak to Karin and say, oh, okay, she's a good girl. And then to see what Jack's done from his mentorship program, that's going to blow your mind when you see his presentation. But it's a privilege to be a part of this federation and work with these people and see what's being developed, you know, helping these kids develop their futures. I think it's a program, and to Lara, I truly thank you for making it happen.
And give her, this girl is so passionate about it. We all have enthusiasm, but her passion is remarkable, and I really appreciate that. Keith, as you were mentioning, is from Ireland. And Keith, I notice your racing academy isn't just called a racing academy, it's also called a centre of education.
Yeah, yeah, very much so, Derek. I think the starting vision, if you like, for the training of people in Ireland with the Racing Academy and Centre of Education was very much around developing the person, you know, so it was never just about developing the jockey per se. And I think over the years, more than 40 years now, while there has been a fantastic track record in terms of producing professional jockeys, I think the bigger testament really is the whole range of hundreds and hundreds of graduates now who have found their niche in the industry around the world and are in positions, you know, very good positions and careers in the industry worldwide, you know. So even as we speak, like, you know, tomorrow night there'll be several graduates riding in the races, there'll be several graduates working behind the scenes at the racetrack, there'll be several graduates involved in pre-training and other training operations, there'll be others over for the winter, you know. So and that's very much what the I suppose the thinking behind our approach has always been, that you're trying to, knowing the career professional top level jockey is short, it's always about developing good foundation, developing the person, developing opportunities. So when we got involved in the federation, and as Remy said, I suppose the discussion was around what tangible benefits can we come up with, you know, for our schools and for our, you know, so we don't just come and meet and talk, but we actually do something. And apart from sending riders to several countries around the world during the year, the opportunity to get involved in the mentorship program has been a big plus. And we had a couple last year, and this year we were involved in 5. We hosted 3 and we sent 2. And we'll, in due course, I can give you just a quick summary of those with a few slides, but that'll give a sense of the flavour of it, you know, the range of opportunity. It is, the world is a small enough place, there's great opportunities, but you have to be, and this I think is a really important point for, you know, the younger members of the audience, you have to be willing to embrace it and engage with it, because schemes like this and opportunities like this, a lot of people work very hard to put things in place and to create opportunities. You have to be prepared to take it, and you know from gatherings like this, some people will embrace it and run with it, and others maybe need to learn that for the future.
And Jack, at the Ents, you've been a recipient of this, haven't you?
I've been a very lucky recipient of this, yeah. I was sent out to Canada. I want to become a trainer. I started off in the racing academy, actually. One of the apprentices who's riding in the race tomorrow, Robbie Fitzpatrick, was in the same year as me. I'm 6 foot tall and couldn't hold the weight for too long. I got the t-shirt. I rode in a few races, but I always wanted to train after, and I sort of was pushed into bringing that forward a lot quicker than I would have wanted. And doing that, you want to learn from the best around the world. But if you can have 8 weeks one-on-one mentor with, you know, somebody who's in the position that you want to be in and has done it for their whole life and has a wealth of experience, you can't buy that, but apparently you can be given it, because I was very lucky. I couldn't thank them enough. You know, it's a sort of when Aidan O'Brien won the Cartier Award last year, the Award of Merit, John Ox said about him, and he was 48. John Ox said that they say that jockeys improve to their best in their 30s and trainers improve to their best in their 50s. So are we to conclude that he's just getting the hang of things? Because by the time he's 65, he's going to be making the most terrible nuisance of himself. At half that age, Joseph O'Brien has won 2 Group 1s, one of them being the Melbourne Cup the other day. Now, he's the same age as me, but he obviously was very fortunate and could get, you know, a great leg up into the industry, as well as being hugely talented. But if you haven't got that, you've got to make the most of any other leg up you can, and this is a huge one. I mean, to be granted an opportunity to go to another part of the world and learn about the jurisdiction, and you also, it's the traveling as well. You know, like Keith was saying, you have to fully embrace it, the taking in the culture and the different racing rules. You don't know what you're going to learn. You have to go out open-minded and soak the whole lot up. And I had the best time. I'll tell you all about it in a minute.
That is lovely. There is living proof that it actually happens. And as you said, you can't buy this. It's not actually, you can't buy it.
Right.
It's free.
Yeah.
That is why this is incredible.
Well, and just to give you an example, there was a book written a few years ago by Hillary Clinton called "It Takes a Village to Raise a Child," and this is exactly what we're doing. I have a lot of contacts in the U.S. I've been working in the industry for a long time, as does Gay and all our colleagues who are out in the audience that I work with, the leaders of all these racing schools. So we have this unique opportunity to network these students in a way that they can end up working with some wonderful mentors. But we can also be creative. For example, Ana Velasquez from the school in Puerto Rico told me she had a young apprentice jockey who was getting too big and he wanted to become a farrier. Yeah. So I said, well, you know, we have a good farriery school in the U.S. and all that, but it's not a big jump from Puerto Rico to the U.S. I called Keith, and they have one of the best farriery schools in the world. Right. So we sent a Puerto Rican, wannabe jockey who got too big to Ireland for a couple of months. And so you can have opportunities to send students to places where they've never been before, and it's not just the working in the stables or learning, but it's also the culture. They're learning about a new culture, making new friends. I rode as an amateur, as you did, and I still have friends from when I rode in the Fégenterie that I can still call. So that's the idea, is to teach these students life lessons in addition to things that they can do to improve their riding if they want to be a jockey, or to know here's the next step in my career because I went and learned about this during the mentorship.
Ricky, what sort of people do you put forward? You say you're the ones who suggest this person. How do you decide that these are the people you think?
First of all, you know, it's not only riders who can go, it's also people who work at the stables, assistant trainers, it's everybody. So I kind of look how they perform the job at home. Are they passionate about what they're doing? And then I try to figure out their urge to go. Are they willing to offer themselves, or would they just do the job, go to the room and sit there? So that is very important to me, that they're open to learning and that they understand what a great opportunity this is and that they're going to embrace it all. That is what I'm looking at.
And if I could just, technically speaking, what we do is each year, so 2018, we'll have 10 positions for student mentorships. We have an application process that we do through IFRA, and it's a very detailed application process. The student must complete it. It includes letters of reference, an essay they have to write to say why they want to do this, a lot of details like that. And then as an IFRA board, we'll look at each application and we'll select, as the board, the 10 finalists. And we tried to go to countries that have never sent anybody, and then each one will get their travel paid for and a stipend of $5,000 for room and board, their expenses that will be transferred to the nominating school.
Yes.
And so each student will, it's like a scholarship, you know. And so technically that's how we structure it.
It's a great idea. And Gay, the beauty of this, it's not just, as Ricky was saying there, it's not just for jockeys or future jockeys. It's for every facet of the racing world, isn't it? Every sort of job.
Look, for everything. For example, when young Hannah from Canada came across to us, she wanted to ride in jump outs. That was her main goal. But we took full advantage of, while she was there, thinking about life after. So she went from helping us write the training programs. We taught her a little bit of horse therapy. I got her to hold horses for the vet, doing lung washes and things like that. I said, something might spark to you another career path. You know, if you're not sure what you're going to do, take advantage of this time here. And like, she's got a couple of good ideas to come back. You know, it's so transitional, but getting the opportunity to find that little niche that sparks your interest, because if you don't do anything with passion, it's not worth doing. So it's finding the passion of what's going to take her on beyond the saddle.
And I get the feeling, listening to you, it's very satisfying for you to see what happens to these young people.
Oh, absolutely. And that they become their own network. You know, like if anybody who gets an internship this year or a mentorship this year, of course, we would be referring them to talk to Jack. You know, how did you handle keeping up with your social media obligations, things like that, because they've got obligations just as much as we have to look after them. It's not a free trip, it's not a holiday. And I'll tell you what, that's one thing they must understand. It is not a holiday. It's a learning period, because education and training not only empowers the person, it empowers the industry, and it'll empower our federation by them going there and taking the opportunity seriously.
Keith, come and join us on the lectern, because I know you're quite keen to elaborate on what you've done so far.
Sorry, do you want me to put on a few?
You said you wanted to show
couple
us
of
a few
slides,
things.
yeah,
Yes,
sure,
of course.
yeah.
Just give us a visual look at how the Irish have been successful in this, and of course so many jockeys. I mean, Tygo Shea came through his school in Ireland. So here it comes. Jack, over to you.
So I think, again, just to reiterate, the approach that we would encourage always with young people coming into the industry is that you need practical training, but education is the key. Education for tomorrow, education for what you're going to do next. And what has happened through the generosity of the Sheikh Mansoor Festival in Lara is that this is another visible expression of a practical thing that can be done to assist with that. So when at our meetings and the proposal was granted and the plans were drawn up, it has developed, as Remy said, from year to year. And hopefully out of this session, those of you who are here, it may inspire some people to go back to your school and to your people and say, well, maybe we should look at this, maybe we can do something with this, maybe we have some really deserving candidates in our country, in our school, in our place, that we could send somewhere else. There's a fantastic network here, it's great opportunities, it's just a matter of tapping into it. So just to give you a little flavour and to show the breadth of it, I suppose, this year we were involved in 5. We had a girl called Michaela West who came through Remy's college, the equine program there. So interested in breeding, interested in the broader bloodstock industry. She came to us for 2 months to Ireland. Again, we were very lucky through the help of one of our board of directors is Joe Osborne, who's from Godolphin. We got our placement in Kildangan Stud, which is Sheikh Mohammed's principal operation in Ireland. She had an amazing couple of months. She got involved in all aspects of the business, from practical hands-on to going racing to seeing behind the scenes to see how the business works. And important to say, she was a great learner. She was a great candidate. She soaked everything up. She was really appreciative, and she really understood the beautiful opportunity that had been given to her. Then by contrast, we had, Remy actually referred to, with a young guy called Gabriel Maldonado, who came from Puerto Rico. It was the first time we'd ever had a Puerto Rican in Ireland, in our school. And he was 18 years of age, so younger. And again, we were slightly reticent at the start because he was a long way from home. He was very young. He was missing his mammy. The language barrier was there. But it turned out to be a fantastic 2-month experience for him. So the Irish School of Farriery took him under their wing, gave him practical training and shoeing and so on, brought him round. He went out on the job with farriers to all kinds of thoroughbred, non-thoroughbred yards, the Irish National Stud. He got to cultural things. And importantly as well, I suppose, he was living on campus in an academy situation with young people from a variety of different countries as well. So what was interesting was that you learn as you go along with these things, but if he had been just taken and put with a mentor somewhere, a farrier out in a particular location, it may not have worked so well. The fact that he was networking with peers his own age of different nationalities, the language became less important. When you're playing football and you're having the crack, language is, the vocabulary is less important. So that worked out very well. Gabrielle went back very happy to Puerto Rico. Again, a different scenario. This was an apprentice jockey from Turkey who was 19 years of age, who was a bit more established, who'd ridden about 45 winners, and who had wanted to come and get some international experience. So he was placed with a trainer, Michael O'Callaghan on the Curragh, kind of up-and-coming trainer, who has some big owners. He had a great experience riding track work and working in the yard there. And he also got, as a bonus, he got a little bit of time with the master trainer, John Ox, at the end of his period as well. And the fourth, so those were the 3 we hosted. And then 2 that we sent. One was Fiona McCarthy, who was about 23 years of age, had graduated a number of years ago. Had a background, had gone to college himself and done business, had been working in the industry all along. Obviously got too big to be a flat jockey, but had applied. When these things come up, we put it out to our network, and social media is very helpful in that regard. And what you tend to find is that good people come forward. So when you put it out to a group of hundreds of graduates, people come forward and you say to them, okay, if you're interested, get your act together, tell us what you're interested in, what you want to do. And people come back, like you'll see with Jack and like with Fionn, and they have their stuff together and they approach it professionally and they organise themselves. So now you know you have someone who is going to be an excellent ambassador, who has good skills, who is able to talk to people, who is actually interested in the cultural engagement. So they're interested in going. It's not just I'm going to work in a yard. I want to go and engage with the country. I want to learn about it. So he was placed with the help of Melissa in Melbourne with Racing Victoria. So he went to a trainer, Tony McAvoy, in Melbourne for 2 months. He had a great time. He got a very wide range of experience. And the acid test of it was that when he finished his 2-month program and he was to return home, the employer, the trainer, said to him, we loved you so much. When you go home, because the scholarship is up, we're going to pay your airfare ticket back out because we want you to work with us for the next few months over the spring before you go on and continue your further education. So that's where he is now. So he's very appreciative, and he, like all of them, sent their thanks very much to Lara and to the Sheikh Mansour Festival, because they are living proof of what a good experience can be. And if you then take it to just make reference to the races, the apprentice races around the world, it's worth a plug. Because the experience, if an apprentice goes to ride in Poland or goes to ride in Italy or Morocco or wherever, it's not just about going to ride in the race. If they go in the right way and approach it in the right way, it's a fantastic professional development opportunity for them. So again, we thank the festival for all of that support. And finally then, just to hand over, I would say the one I've left out of that is Jack Pilkington, who was the second of our graduates that we sent abroad, and he took up an offer from Teresa Seeley in Canada to go and do that, and Jack is going to give you a little walk through everything that he did, which I think you will find and hope you will find very interesting.
Come and join us, Jack. That's great. Thank you so much. Keith, that was wonderful seeing all that. It's lovely to see it in full colour.
It's amazing.
Come on, Jack. Come and join us.
While Jack is doing that, I think it's important also to note we've all had good careers in racing. Sometimes when you have the opportunity to pay it forward, to give the opportunity for a youngster to do well, it makes you feel good that you've been able to affect the life.
That's what Gay was saying, is it's a satisfying feeling.
Yeah.
It's got to be good. Jack, I like your socks, by the way.
Oh,
He's got multicoloured socks on, which are very
McDonald's.
I think it's the flag of
Then
Canada.
just come
Well,
around
it
this
is retro nights.
Come on,
night
here,
after
look at
all.
these socks. Wow. Well,
They do stop eventually.
I love it. Go on, kick on and tell us what it's been like for you.
Oh, it's been amazing. So I was basically I applied for the mentorship. I heard of it through the race graduates page. They have a Facebook page on for anybody who's been there, and to notify all the graduates of anything that might be available to them. And one thing that popped up one day was mentorship, and I thought, well, that looks all right. And there's a couple of options in Canada, and I looked through them, and I thought, this looks epic. I could go out and have a one-on-one for 2 months with a legend of the game. And, just thought, let's apply for that. Gave them my best, and they said, yep, we'll have you on board. And the whole thing was seamless. I was basically funded for board and lodging, sent to Canada, and I was in Edmonton, Alberta, and I was based with a guy called Rod Cohn. Rod Cohn is an absolute legend around there, and I'll go through a few of my posts because I think I saved a few of them there anyway. But I'll just run you through a few other things first. So basically, Edmonton is like cowboy country. There's some great horsemen around there. It's not all racing. But it meant I embraced a lot of the culture there. I ended up going to rodeos and things, and I actually got a handkerchief in my pocket from the Calgary Stampede. The year I was there was the 250th year of horse racing in Alberta, which was the province in Canada where I was. It was very lovely people around there, great integrated place, just a really good place to be and to learn and to soak up everything. And then the interesting thing Keith was saying about the chap that came from Puerto Rico to Ireland, you'd see quite a lot of people from Puerto Rico and the likes, but especially from Jamaica and Barbados. Most of the jockeys at Edmonton are from Jamaica and Barbados because they basically ride seasonal races, so they'll go and ride their summers in Edmonton and their winters at home. So you meet people from all over as well. So I didn't just get to learn about Canada. I was asking a million questions to all I made some great friends from out there. All the Barbados and the Jamaicans, they were great. They were good fun, a whole lot of them. So Rod, a bit about him. He's the chairman of the Horsemen's Benevolent Protection Association. He's on the board of the race course. He was a farrier from when he was 15. He became a jockey. He's been a trainer for God knows how many years. He's trained 2 Canadian Derby winners, and while I was there, he had a dead heat for second in it again. He's got his own business where he creates supplements and remedies and things like that to use on horses that are all designed ethically with herbs instead of any jugs or anything. So you can, you can use them on race day and things to aid their performance. But he's a great family man. He has so many strings to a very knowledgeable bow, and somebody great to soak up all that knowledge from. The track was actually quite a small track. It was a 5 furlong dirt track, but it was pretty good viewing. But it was a very tight knit community. You got to know everybody very quickly, and it just made it more enjoyable, really. And I got to. It also meant that the jurisdiction not being overly big, they actually embraced me as well and let me do a bit of everything. I called a race on TV. I'd never done any commentary before. It was pretty brave of the race caller to say, yeah, okay, we'll let you call a race. There was I think it was a 6 furlong race. There was about 7 horses in it. We'd keep an easy one. But there was a very low-lying sun when I did it, and I swear there was about, I gave it the old, they're off, the European style. They're used to racing. Anyway, I just thought I'd do my own touch on it. And I felt like there was a minute before I could see any horses coming into, but it worked out okay on the thing. But it was good fun. Got to meet all the stewards, got to talk to them, sat in on the board meetings of the race course, and they're talking about how can we improve the track and what would people like to see changed. I got to Rod still does a little bit of farrier. His back's not in great nick, but he'd shoe his old hack and things like that. He let me shoe feet. Most trainers aren't going to learn how to be farriers. To learn in-depth knowledge of the makings of a horse's foot and how to shape it so it, and you just don't get that. I mean, the incredible amount of knowledge coming out of them that I was able to absorb. But I'll show you a few of the posts, because I went all over the place. So I went off traveling around and all sorts. Anyway, I'll try and find okay, so the first week we have, should have a few pictures. I think I was only able to upload so many at a time. Some of these are a bit sideways, but well, this is okay. So we had a winner in the first week. Anyway, this horse is actually owned by Rod's granddaughters. He's a great family man, and Shamari Muir rode it from the back of the field. The winning picture. I'm there on the right. Rod is on the left. He's 71 years old, Rod, but he's a very similar sense of humour to me. And I honestly just made a really good friend. I never noticed the age difference at all. This, I wish I could turn the other way. Well, I don't think I'd be able to do it if I just turn the whole computer. If you tilt your head to the right here. So there's basically, we're actually holding a sheet here. The first week I was there, we wanted to make it known that the mentorships are available, and obviously there's a racing academy out there as well, and there's people at the track who've been to that racing academy, and Teresa Seeley, who runs that, is fantastic. She's an absolute legend, and she's always trying to sort of give them the giddy up and say, come on guys, you can learn so much here, you loads of opportunities. So we said to the race course, could we name a race after the International Federation of Horse Racing Academies mentorship program, and do a presentation and things, and drum up a bit of an awareness. This is the first Saturday race day that was on there, and they said yeah, and we sorted it all out. So we got Teresa here, and we presented Robertino Deodoro, who trained the winner, and we presented them with that, and we just it drummed up a lot of awareness. And after that, I had so many people that had been to the racing academy there. They came up to me and they said, how have you managed to get on this? What is it? And thinking, can I do that? So the whole thing is to get more and more people excited about what they can learn elsewhere. These seem to be, that's Rod and Teresa and myself. Beautiful sunny day there in Edmonton. Anyway, so that's the kind of gist of the sort of first week we had, and a few pictures of the race course. We'll fly through a few of these here now. Oh, hang about. didn't mean to do that. How do I go back to the original? Oh, here we go. Right. Should be able to find my saved items somewhere here now.
You did you really? Honestly? When did you do that? That's amazing. Remy was just saying, by the way, that he actually rode a winner at Edmonton, didn't you? When was that?
Race back in, I think it was early 90s when I rode Figenterie and we had a race. At
Did you ride for Rod?
I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. I was a much younger guy back then.
Yeah, even if it was in the 60s or 50s, it could have still been for Rod.
Yeah.
I just have to remember how many times we would go around the track. It was a long race.
Yeah, well, it's got the Derby there is 1 mile and 3. You have to go around it several times.
Is that you riding on the right in the white
oh,
red spots?
I'm on that one there.
Oh, really? Really?
It's a horse called Mr. Rory, but that wasn't in Canada. But he ran the Breeders' Cup this year. I'm trying to find. I saved all the things. Where are the saved? Does anybody know where the saved items are when you? Where up here?
Up.
Come on, everybody.
Oh, right,
up,
yeah,
up,
I should have
up.
seen that. My bad. Thank you.
Yes,
So if we go to what happened in week 2, hopefully we'll find out.
And while Jack is doing this, one of the requirements for our students is that they have to post videos and reports on our website so that we can show to Lara and to Sheikh Mansoor what we're doing. So Jack is one of the best at posting a lot of information, but we've had several others who've done the same thing.
So this is one of the walkers they use out there. That's actually some of you might have heard about Peanut, the infamous Peanut, who was a bit of a monkey. But I managed to build up a bit of a relationship with him. He was still far too wise to the ways of the track and what he might be able to get away with and avoid running around in the races. But we went around pretty well in some pieces of work. But he's a cheeky fella, but I enjoyed riding him. Rod, age 71, still chewing his hack there. I went off to the Calgary Stampede. I don't know if any of you...
A few ranch girls.
Oh, these are the ranch girls at the Calgary Stampede. The Calgary Stampede is known as the greatest show on earth. I don't know, Remy, have you ever been to the...
Never been, but I've heard about it.
Oh, you've got to go. Everybody should go. It's basically a huge rodeo because this is part of embracing the culture there. They just lay it on. They've fairs and everything goes on for a whole week, and they have finals and things. All the different rodeos that go on. Well, they're all just. You don't know what you're going to see at taking. Every sort of thing going on there.
Is that you, Jack?
And I videoed this.
Is that you?
I was on the other side of this arena. All the things that cowboys do. It was incredible. The greatest outdoor show on earth, they call it. So I spent the whole day there. Hazel Bennett and Darryl Balder took me in backstage. We went into the barns, met the chuck wagon racers. We met the Stampede royalty, they call them, the queens and princesses, who sort of spend their whole year promoting it. And the whole thing is put on by volunteers. It's amazing how they manage to run it every year. It's enormous. And so I really enjoyed that. I was, you see, these kids are looking through the bars here. Basically, I was a big kid looking through the bars as well. Just enjoying the whole thing and seeing all of these. This is a bit of, in fact, you might be able to see.
Let's get to 5,500.
This is a bit of cutting, which I had to go at one time, so I wanted to go and see it. Horses dancing with cows and things. That's one of the chuck wagon racers. This was my little souvenir from the thing, so that's why I brought it along today. My little Calgary Stampede hanky. I mean, it was an amazing event. But you know, these are the things that just go on. You hear about them, and you take in the local culture of where you are in this kind of mentorship. You know, it's so important. You can't just you have to embrace absolutely everything. Edmonton actually was a pretty cool city. I found out in the end. It's sort of very landlocked, and you'd think, oh, an awful lot goes on there, but they did some beautiful architecture and there's some things. This is the legislature, which is their sort of government building. It was a stunning city, just to go and have a look around, and saw a bit of. I didn't actually see any games of ice hockey, but I saw a few people training. I just missed the end of the season, but that is their like #1 sport around there. So I went to the Oilers thing. This is just the sort of courts, and took in a bit of everything. Canada, it was the 150th year of Canada as a nation, so everything is. This is actually in the lab where Rod makes all of his things for his horses. Got to go and see leg braces and things like that. You know, or some people might put clay on the horse's legs to cool them down, or you know, you're always bandaging them up and giving them the best of care. And he creates some of these things, and so we were using them practically on the horses. And then I got to go and see how they make them and things like that, and what goes into it, and so it was a pretty cool spot. That I mean, it was, you know, again, I didn't know I was going to be taking this much information in when I got there, but everything was available to me. This is me riding Peanut on the track, Legend of a Horse. This is the testing barn. We had a huge sandstorm that actually called off, well, it was a dust storm. It was called off racing that night. They were about jumping out of the And it's not an enormous grandstand, but it's very nice and tight-knit community around there. Then I went to another rodeo. You often see in Canada and America, this is not my first rodeo. So I was delighted to be able to say it literally when I went to the K-Days rodeo. This is not my first rodeo. It was on, they had it, so the people that run the race course there are called Northlands, and they're actually a big company, and they also have a big centre with an arena and things at the back of the race course where they have ice hockey in the winter. They have rodeos and things in the summer. They have a huge carnival that goes on for 10 days, and it's called K-Days. And they actually allowed myself and Rod to have this treatment in their suite where you just sat in the balcony watching this. We were so well looked after. And this is just beforehand. We just went into might see a dinner. I mean, these guys are crazy. So they had to ride alongside the bull, and oh, bit of wrong there. So he outrode the clock, so he gets pretty massive points there. These are two guys, one of them has the last through the horns, one of them has the last through the legs, and then they take him down. Wild pony races for the kids, and they have to try and ride it. That was one of the best ones. That was very difficult to do. Are they all going to fall off? They know they're going to fall off. She's delighted with herself. You know, they get them all in. Bit of barrel racing. Very impressive. I mean, that's big. He got some buzz off this. He actually did ride the clock. I thought he just missed it, but it was great. Then they had the carnival on as well, and I went up on a few of the rides. This one I was a bit nervous of taking this picture, actually, because it rises you up slowly and you sort of sit there and admire the view for a minute. and then the seat just goes from under you, and you drop back down to the earth. So I was sort of clinging my phone very tightly. But this is a view of the course here. So you've got, well, I can wag my finger here. So there's your grandstand, and this is all the carnival that goes on. And the people that run the course run this whole thing as well. So it just shows you, it brings in a lot of people to the races as well, adding a few more things. And then that's Edmonton in the background. So it was a pretty stunning view from up there. But this is from one of the high-rise bridges. All a few pictures of Edmonton. And then, sure. So go with, oh, yeah, where do we find it? That's it. I'm getting it now.
Jack, this is absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for showing us this. It's a real insight.
We've got a few more.
Watch out for that man there. Works for the Racing Post, I know him. Well, Jack, honestly, that is fantastic. It's great to see the enjoyment in your voice.
Rod told me now, this is a pretty cool picture for me, because Rod goes, you go and pretend. We had a horse called Kiss in the Theatre. He won this race. And this is Dane Nelson. He's my favourite jockey out there. He's from Barbados, and absolute gun of a jockey, as they say in Australia. And these are sort of a few of the team. That's Rod there with his grandkids. And he said, you go and stand in there, you put your hand on the horse's hip and pretend to be the trainer this time for this picture. So that's a picture to treasure. There's Peanut again going to the races. I actually even got to do a bit of outriding. So I said, will I be able to ride post parade and take him to the start myself? I'd never done that before. That was pretty cool. It was just another thing. Everything I said, can I do this? Can I do that? Just thought, if you don't ask, the thing is, I'd say to any young person, there's no stupid questions. You know, sometimes you get laughed out of town. It doesn't mean it was a stupid question. I was saying, can I call a race live on TV? Yeah, I think we could do that. All right, can I go and lead my horse down on a horse to the thing? Yeah, sure, we can do that. Can I, it was just everything. Can I go here? Can I go there? Can I go whitewater rafting? Yeah, we'll organise that. Can I go to the Calgary Stampede? Absolutely. Can I go to Banff National Park and see all sorts of things there? Yeah, you can go everywhere you want. They were the most welcoming bunch of people.
Can I rob a bank? They'll give you the gun. Can I rob a bank? They'll give you a gun.
Rob a bank? No. I wouldn't jump off the cliff now if somebody told me to do that. But, so fantastic time there. Anyway.
Well, Jack,
right, the Eskimos.
Jack, we're nearly at the end. Yeah. All right.
I'll run through it really.
This is good.
I'll fly. Okay, so even American football and things like that I got into. Sorry, I'm absolutely dragging on, but I had a fantastic time there. That's the point there.
It's outstanding.
Okay, so just a few things I wanted to cover, and thank yous and things like that. Because I got to, I pretty much told you most of what I've done. If you want to see any more of it, you can go and read through the things. But basically, I've a few thank yous to say. A lot of people I've heard some very good thank yous this week. And, they've said thank you to Lara and Sheikh Mansoor bin Zayed for putting on this week. I've had the funding for this and this week combined. I can't thank enough for. But I also think there's a few more things that are going to come from this. I think this is pioneering and a huge example to something that actually I think the racing authorities from around the world should also get on board with. You know, why who's to say that we couldn't have lots more mentorships going from the example of the International Federation of Horse Racing Academy's mentorship program, that Horse Racing Ireland can't send people, and the British Horse Racing Authority can't send people, and everybody invests, because you're investing in the future. You're investing in my generation. I am sold to the racing industry now. That's it. This is going to be my career. Good. So anything that can help my generation and send people to another part of the world and continue the discussion. You know, what are the changes that should be made in 50 years' time when I might be looking at leaving the industry? So it's not just a thank you for sending me there, and it's not just a thank you for this week. It's a thank you for investing in the future and my generation. And that means a lot to me.
Well done, big fella. Thank you very much indeed. That was an outstanding performance. So you enjoyed yourself, did you?
I hugely enjoyed it. I can't. Honestly, I could stand here all day. You
Jack.
haven't got all day. But
Yes,
I would if,
Jack.
But
if
please
I was
don't.
left here, but-
Well done, big fella. That was brilliant. Give him another big round of applause.
Well done.
That was outstanding.
This is usually when you just drop the mic.
Tell you what, that is good. And just for people who don't know, you're now an assistant trainer here?
Oh no, that was a bit generous. I'm a rider, but I'm actually working for John Hyde in Dubai at the moment,
Which is
for
great.
5 months, which is pretty cool. But there's no reason everybody, who's young in the racing industry can't go and learn from another jurisdiction and go somewhere else and take it in. And
Jack, we get the idea.
there you go.
Outstanding. Well done. There's a young lady over here. I met her earlier on, and what have you done with, first of all, what's your name and where are you from?
Sophie Ralston, and I'm from Ireland.
What have you done here? You've broken your leg, or what happened?
I've broken my foot. A horse fell on top of me. So I'm lucky it was only my foot, really.
Goodness me, what happened?
She slipped over on concrete, got spooked, and it was like an ice rink, and I just got caught underneath her.
No, so how long have you got to wear this boot?
4 more weeks. I'm 4 weeks in and 4 more weeks to go.
So tell us about yourself. You're an apprentice jockey. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm an apprentice jockey. I live and work in England, so I've raced all over the country there. And my career had only just taken off, really, actually, before this accident. But if I could choose the time to get injured, this would be the time, while I'm on holiday and everything, so...
This is great to have you here. So what would you, when you hear a young man like that, talking about that with so much passion, what does it make you want to do?
It's amazing to know that those opportunities are there. So I'm not finished being a jockey just yet, by the way. But it's great to know that those opportunities are there, and it's fantastic. Like, I'd love to do something like that.
I love all this. What did you think of it? Oh, what is your name? Oh, sorry. Is she all right? What is her name? Who is this? Mary. Why won't you talk? It doesn't matter because it's only Tomo talking with the mic. And just say, look, and where are you from? Tell me, how old are you? Where are you from?
I'm from Denmark. I'm 22.
Great, you see, we're off already. It doesn't matter. So when you're being interviewed, just think of having a cup of coffee and you're just having a chat. Don't worry, I'm shy as well. Get out of here. What's your name?
Anna Wallace from the UK.
And Anna, how are you? You had an operation on the old eyes. What's the latest news?
I'm all good, Tomo.
You're looking good. What about you?
Ellie Mackenzie from the UK.
You're looking pretty good over there, aren't you?
Yeah, I've had a fantastic season Arab racing. I was novice champion this year and was lucky enough to ride a Group 2 on Dubai Day, so hoping to improve on that next year.
What do you think when you hear young people like that talking about their mentorship? What are your thoughts?
It makes me really want to get involved, and I'd like to have a chat with you afterwards, if possible, to see how I could apply for this, because it really would be an amazing opportunity.
Where would you like to go?
Honestly, anywhere. America and Australia would be obvious choices, but there's so many countries that you could learn so much from, so anywhere would be.
They have nice bridges in Calgary. You can go.
Remy, where'd you send them to? Say I want to go to Australia. Can you say that or no?
Well,
how do you do it?
What we try to do is you have to apply first, and through your school, because it's with IFRA, it's for IFRA member racing schools or affiliated training programs, and we'll take in all the applications, and depending on how they're presented and the letters of reference, we'll do the selection. And at that point, what I try to do is to try to match up the nominating racing school with possible mentors. So, for example, we had 2 students, one from the Northern Racing College, Nicola Cooper, who came to Lexington, and I put her in place at Crestwood Stud Farm because she wanted to experience the whole breeding side of the business, and she actually was there presenting yearlings at the September yearling sales at Keeneland, and the owner of the farm took her up to Saratoga for the sales up there, and she said she had worked in racing a long time, but never had that kind of training about, presenting horses at the Keeneland sales is a whole nother thing about how to stand the horses and all that. And she said that I would have never really have learned that, how much they work with yearlings over there compared to England and places like that.
It's fascinating.
I just wanted to let people know that our actual first recipient of the scholarship from last year, Tom Marquand, he was the leading apprentice in the UK. and he came out to Racing Victoria for a month. Tom's actually here on for 2 weeks, I think, with the Jebel Ali stable, and he's actually racing tomorrow night in Abu Dhabi. So it's fantastic to see our actual first recipient of the scholarship, that now he's here race riding. So I think that's pretty fantastic as well.
And he boosted that in the best possible way by winning at Abu Dhabi on Friday night. Absolutely, yeah. So Tom Marquand, a lovely, lovely guy. Any more questions? Because I think we've had a gentleman over here from Australia. Thomas rushing up the steps. Here we go. Things I do for Australia. What is it, Big Fella?
I'd just like to ask Gay a question, if I could, please. Is there any age criteria to be a participant?
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think we were sort of really looking for 18 years upwards, so that, you know, they could have a driver's license. It's a lot easier to get a working visa, holiday working visa. And there was going to be a cap, I think, at 35, but it's negotiable as well, depending on the circumstance. And
to add to that, just the internships are no more than 3 months, so we can keep them on a travel visa. So that way, because they're paid for, so the trainers who mentor the students don't have to pay them. It's a working mentorship. Now, in some cases, they might give them a couple of dollars for spending money, but we want to keep it that way so we avoid the work visa situations that they would have to do. So they're really there as a tourist.
Mara with the Communications Committee, and Jack has been the first mentorship student to use live Facebook and a number of wonderful tools to tell the story. Can you just tell everybody, is it hard? Is it easy? How do you use those platforms as successfully as you did?
Oh, it's that easy. I mean, my generation is going to be pretty used to using Facebook anyway. And I just wrote a piece each week and about what I did that week, what I learned, who I met, and put a few pictures on there. And then for the Canadian Derby, there was such a buzz around. You can actually, because you can go live on Facebook, you can go live to the whole. You're live to the whole world, really, because anybody can see you if your thing's public. And I went live on the International Federation of Horse Racing Academy's Facebook page in the paddock before the Canadian Derby, and then for the race. You can't see too much of the race because we were screaming the house down because our horse ran so well. But and the other thing I didn't mention, I then said, when the second to last week was the Canadian Derby, the last weekend there wasn't too much going on there because it was a bit of a lull after basically every horse ran. And I said, could I possibly go to Saratoga on the way home for the Travers? And they said yes. So they flew me to Saratoga on the way home for a weekend. Thrown that in there as well. It wasn't part of the thing in the press days. But I just said, would it be possible? You know, it would be amazing enhancement of my scholarship as well. It's the oldest stakes race in North America. And then I went live on the Facebook page from there as well. And the buzz was incredible. So I hope it sort of came through on the live feed.
Let me just make a point that all the students, don't call me to go to Saratoga after your mentorship. Okay?
I like it. That's a great idea. But as you said, if you don't ask, you won't find another question.
Jenny Haynes from the Arabian Racing Organisation in the UK. It's just something, Remy and Gay, you mentioned. You said it's 18 to 35 is the cap. In that case, does it still have to go through the racing, like the racing schools? Like in England, we've got 2 racing schools. So if they're 30 up to that higher age bracket, do they still have to go through the racing school to get to actually the application to be looked at?
That would be the one stipulation I say. They have to have gone to a member racing school since it's an IFRA program. Now, if they're recently graduated, maybe a year out from the school, that's fine. We can take it on a case-by-case basis. But the most important thing, we want to see this kind of enthusiasm, like Jack, a student who's going to embrace the opportunity and really, gets what we're trying to do. So there's some cases where they have to be old enough to, like in America, they have to be old enough to drive or rent a car because of geography. They need to move around. So sometimes that might limit what we can do for certain students. But generally, I think it's wide open. We will just take each case as it comes along.
Tell you what, it's been fascinating the last hour and a quarter listening to you guys. And what we've learned, I tell you what, I feel, wow, I really do. What Gabe was saying, tell you what, the passion this young man showed, the passion that you guys showed, I think this is absolutely outstanding. Thanks to Sheikh Mansoor, thanks to Sheikha Fatima, and thanks to Lara Sawaya, because this is something extra special. Give him a big round of applause. Outstanding.
Every day's a school day.
And I'm pleased to say, Zayed, come and join us. He is the #1 presenter on Yes TV. Here he is, big fella. How are you? How are you getting on?
Fine, how are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We are so happy to invite you here. And thank you, Tommy. Let me speak in Arabic because I'm on air in Yes channel. مشاهدينا الكرام، طبعا نشكركم وان شاء الله تكونوا استمتعتوا وكذلك استفدتوا من هذا المؤتمر المميز اللي قدمناه. طبعا جهود الشيخة فاطمة بنت مبارك الله يطول عمرها أم الإمارات واضحة جدا في هذا المجال وفي دعم الرياضة بشكل عام ورياضة المرأة بشكل خاص. كذلك الشكر يعجز اللسان عن تقديمه اللي اسمه الشيخ منصور بن زايد آل نهيان نائب رئيس مجلس الوزراء وزير شؤون الرئاسة على الاهتمام اللي وليه للخيول العربية الأصيلة. في ختام حديثي أنا حاب بس أستضيف السيدة لارا سوايا. تفضلي. أشكرك في البداية والنهاية على العمل المميز والكبير اللي تقومين فيه في دعم هذا المؤتمر والرياضة بشكل عام. تواجد دائما، أصبحت ثيمة من ثيمات هذه الرياضة. وين ما نشوفك نعرف أن في خير وراء. لكن شو تخبرين اليوم عن هذا المؤتمر ونتائجه بعد اليوم الأول والإقبال الكبير والأسماء المميزة واللامعة اللي كانت أون ستيج وكذلك بعد كانوا ما بين الحضور؟
اليوم المؤتمر كان جدا مهم لأنه طرح مواضيع جديدة. المواضيع يلي تغيرت شوي الأمور. اليوم في عندك 17 تلميذ راح على منتورشيب بروجرام، تبادل الباسبورات بين الدول، يلي مثل ما شفت الشاب فيليب يلي هو كانت الأمور عم تتميز هالسنة أكثر بالنسبة للتلاميذ. اليوم الاتحاد الدولي لأكاديميات سباقات الخيل مهم جدا. مثل ما شفت مطلوب انه غير authorities هيئات كمان تتبنى هيك افكار لتوسع الامور اكثر بالنسبه لتفتح مجالات اكثر لبلدان ثانيه لتلاميذ جديده. بس الحمد لله شكرا لسمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد لدعمه اللامحدود لرياضه الفروسيه، واكيد ماما فاطمه ام العالم سمو الشيخه فاطمه بنت مبارك الله يطول بعمرها هي يلي عم تخلي كل شاب وصبية اليوم واستاذ مدرب جوكي أما مالك خيل يكون عنده فرصة ليتعرف على العالم. اليوم عندك 88 دولة موجودين بعاصمة العالم للخيول العربية أبو ظبي، وبيت الثاني لكل الجوكيز من العالم. افتكر هن موجودين هون، عندك 800 ضيف. يمكن هلا الفاض شوي الصاله فضيت لانه بتشوف اكثر من الجوكيز اللي متواجدين لانه صار نهار طويل وفي تمرين بنادى ابو ظبي للفروسيه كرمال بكره اغلى واهم نهار بعالم الخيول العربيه.
الا وهو
عالم واحد 6 قارات ابو ظبي عاصمه العالم للخيول العربيه. 10 سنين مهرجان سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد، جوهرة التاج الشيخ زايد بن سلطان النهيان، أغلى سباق العالم 1,200,000 يورو على موعد مع إن شاء الله رابح جديد وخيل جديد. إن شاء الله الخيول تتميز مثل ما هي مميزة بكرة لأنه اسم الله في فيلد كبير من الخيول. في خيول اجت من برا كرمالها تشارك بأغلى سباق العالم. واكيد ما بدنا ننسى الفاينلز تبع بطوله العالم لسمو الشيخه فاطمه بنت مبارك ان كان للسيدات اما للفرسان المتدربين. عندنا الوسبي ستاليونز سباق اللي بحبوه كل الجماهير الخيول العربيه من المولدين المحليين. واكيد ما بدنا ننسى عندنا البوني ريس يلي هو شيخة لطيفة بنت منصور بن زايد انترناشنال بوني ريس، البونيز الدولي، أول سباق بالعالم يلي هو في 9 جوكيز، 2 منهم من الإمارات و7 من العالم عم بيشاركوا لأول نسخة رح تكون بأبو ظبي عاصمة العالم. أنت اليوم مسكت الجنريشنز من الصغير للكبير، وما بعرف يمكن هو إذا بعده موجود، بس كان في ليو ديتوري روكو ديتوري يلي رح يمثل إيطاليا، كان موجود من شوية، هو ابنه لفرانكي ديتوري. في أسماء كبيرة من هالصغار يلي هن بيهم يا جوكي يا فيمس جوكي يا ترينر اكس ترينر، انه كل هالقصص اللي عم بتشوفها انت اليوم كلها مربوطه ببعضها.
اصبحنا نربط الاجيال ببعض.
منشان هيك تميز بكره واليوم وكل يوم ابو ظبي ماسكه كل الدول بحب للخيل العربي. هذا شيء كثير مهم خاصه للجوكيز. الجوكيز هيدا بيتهم الثاني. ابو ظبي هي عاصمه مش بس الخيول، عاصمه للجوكيز. هون بيتجمعوا، هون عم بيلتقوا مره بالسنه بنوفمبر بالفاينلز تبع مهرجان سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد. نحن بنشكر كل شخص تواجد على البانلز لانه اضاف معلومات جديده، اضاف خبره جديده. اليوم شفت عطى خبرته وقتها راح على منتورشيب بروجرام على كندا وهو من ايرلند. هالتبادل الباسبورات صار بس مع مهرجان سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد للخيول العربيه الاصيله، لانه هو الراعي الرسمي للمنتورشيب بروجرام بالاتحاد الدولي لاكاديميه سباقات الخيل. ثانك يو لمشاهدين ياس يلي اليوم استمعوا علينا واكيد شافوا نشاطاتنا. بس بنوعدكم بكره احلى فاينلز بالتاريخ يلي بيبصم 10 سنين مهرجان سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد. ثانك يو.
عقبال 20 وعقبال 100 سنه ان شاء الله. الاسم يعني ولد كي يكون كبير هذا العمل وهذا الانجاز. لارا قبل ما اختم وياك بقربك من وتوجيهات ام الامارات الشيخه فاطمه بن مبارك وكذلك الشيخ منصور، كيف ترين حبهم ودعمهم لهذه الرياضه وشو اللي يوصونك عليه دائما؟
اهم شيء ثقتك، ثقه الناس فيك. اليوم انت بس يكون عندك كل هالعالم من 88 دوله بيجوا على ابو ظبي عاصمه العالم، هو جوابي لك، هو حب سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد وام العالم سمو الشيخه فاطمه مبارك لكل العالم يتواجدوا بعاصمه وحده ابو ظبي. شكرا.
الله يحفظ الامارات ويحفظ ان شاء الله بلادنا، والشكر كبير وممتد من القلب الى الشيخ منصور بن زايد على كل ما يقدمه من جهد من اجل هذه الرياضه، وكذلك الشكر كذا موصول الى ام الامارات امنا الغاليه التي تهتم بكل ما هو جميل في العالم كله. واليوم هذا المؤتمر كان يعني يتزين باسمها الغالي. في النهايه وصلنا الى نهايه نقلنا اليوم لهذا المؤتمر، مؤتمر الشيخه فاطمه بنت مبارك لتطوير مهارات الفرسان. ومثل ما قلت لكم لارا ان احنا ابتدينا موسم مميز، والموسم من بدايته في هذا الشهر بشر بموسم وانجاز رائع وجميل في الفروسيه سواء في البلاد او حتى في العالم كله. في النهايه وصلنا الى ختام حديثي. انا اشكركم واشكر طاقم العمل المميز في قناه ياس ان نقل لكم هذا الحدث، وانقل لكم بعد ذلك الشكر موصول الى سيد ابراهيم ريان اللي اشرف على الموضوع، وكذلك من وراء الدفه المميز والرائع مخرجنا السيد عبد الكريم شلبي. اشوفكم ان شاء الله خير، تلقى اوقات ثانيه ومرحبا الساعه.